I wasn't always a Christian. I was raised with the Christian mentality of the Christian morals and the Christian faith about Jesus since I was young. But my ideology was, if you're good, you're going to heaven, and that's all. As long as you're good and you don't, you know, interrupt people's lives and have a corruptive character and all sorts. That was my mentality. But that's not true. And I definitely got told that that wasn't true in a harsh way, but I needed to hear it in a harsh way because I was very... So I began my life with my mum until I was 12, and I had quite a few not nightmares, you could call it, and they were just getting increasingly worse. So I remember she sent me to this club called Intergirls, which was every Tuesday. It was run by a Catholic woman. So this is where I think I started, you know, getting interested, and she was really lovely. But I told her, I don't know why her, because I pretty much was so shy. I did not want to talk to anyone. But like, I told her and I was like, I just keep having these nightmares that people are going to get me, and like, they keep attacking me. And I remember she told me about Jesus, and she told me about, you know, use his name and they'll go away. And I'm going to be honest, I did, because I was a scared kid, and they went away. And I never heard from them until I got older. So when I hit about 12, 13, the anxiety within me got a lot stronger. I would literally just faint or black out, and it probably did come from exhaustion and overworking and overwhelming myself with my thoughts, and everything was heightened at that time of my life, and I was just permanently anxious and frustrated. There was bits in that. I was definitely involved in that teenage let's experiment kind of vibe from like 15, and that idea of lust was there from about 15, 16. Around my secondary year period, I was introduced to lust and alcohol and anxiety. They were the three things that were like going back and forth. So by the time that it got to my college period, I'd already been aware of all those things. So, and I'd already harbored them. Harbored, you know the word. I predominantly knew the Islamic religion. I actually didn't know much of the Christian faith apart from that one lady. And before I even became Christian, I did research into a lot of religions because I wanted one that was true and the facts were there and there was science to back them up. I actually wanted like a multiple of sources before I gave my life. When I got to college, where I met my now husband, he was a Christian. And Christians, if you're watching this, you know what a Christian is. The kind of Christian that was like, yeah, I believe in God, I'm giving my life, da 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 da, and then their actions don't represent a Christian. You know what I'm saying? He was just kind of like, I believe in God. That's it. When I met him, I fell for him hard. We had a 2-year relationship and it broke down. And this is the part where it makes me really sad. Full composure. I got this, I got this. It was probably like the worst phase of my life emotionally. I've had rejection before, but when he did it, it was just something else. It felt like my whole heart sunk. In our relationship that we were unequally yoked, he realised, because he grew as a Christian. He grew with God and had a relationship with God, and I almost got envious of that relationship that he had with God. I was like, he's taking up my time, he's taking my man. Like, I actually grew envious of the relationship that they had because I didn't understand it and I was frustrated. I almost hated it because I was like, he's prioritising something other than me. And it's a very selfish mentality. But that is just what I was thinking at that time. It tore us apart. Like, he would ask to pray with me, he would ask to do a study with me, and I didn't understand any of it, so it would just frustrate me because I just didn't get it. So he would be constantly making the effort to try and introduce me to Jesus, but I would constantly block him and be like, no, because it means I've got to sacrifice this, or no, it means I've got to get rid of this, or no, it's got too many rules, too many instructions, I can't keep it up. Luckily God saved us from that, because that would have been a nightmare. But he was very adamant that he was choosing God's way, and he wanted to be celibate and I didn't. We both went two separate pathways. I went down the sinful route and he went down the godly route. I went through so many different emotions, like, towards God. Like, I was like, I just didn't understand, if God loved him as much as I loved him, why would God take him away from me? And I didn't understand that process, so I was kind of like seeking God, but angrily seeking God. I was like, well, if you're real, which I still believed, but I was like, I didn't realise God was active in people's lives, if that makes sense. Like, I believed there was a God and that God watched over us, but I didn't believe that God can work through people and in your life. I went to Hillsong a few times and I didn't speak to anyone. I literally just went on my own to try and understand why he left me, because he said the main reason was he wanted to follow God and I didn't. And God did speak to me, but very, like, he spoke to me and I knew it was for me, but I was like a horse with the, what are they called? Blinders, blinkers. Horse with the blinkers on, that was me. I was like, going to church. No, I'm coming to see you, but I'm not really listening. It was kind of like that. Went from one bad choice to another bad choice. Going out a lot more, I was clubbing a lot more. I was wearing stuff that I wouldn't usually wear, doing stuff I usually wouldn't do. I was just a very flirtatious character. I was very like forward. I went out dating quite a few guys and I tried getting drunk loads of times, and then I almost got into a relationship with someone else, but I had strong underlying feelings for Aaron and it wouldn't be right of me to do that to someone else. The feelings that I had for Aaron never left and they just grew stronger and stronger. I'm ashamed of the acts or the things that I was doing and how I was behaving, and I guess that's why I didn't want to post this video, is because it makes me feel a little bit like, why did I do that? Now that I know Jesus, because he's so pure and I was the complete opposite. I just was living in sin and there's no other explanation. I don't know, I just was chaotic. Here comes the good part. 6 months later, I met Aaron. I asked for my iPad back. I saw him, I had them same feelings and I was so annoyed. I was like, oh, I still love him. Talking to him in McDonald's, all of a sudden I feel this guilt and this shame of, how am I going to tell him what I've been up to? Because I still want to be with him, but